Welcome to my channel, USA Battle Zone. Today's story is one of courage, defiance, and a moment that silenced a room full of skeptics. It's the story of a pilot who proved that bravery isn't about the aircraft you fly, it's about the heart beating behind the controls. So sit back, turn up the sound, and feel this story, not just as a military tale, but as a testament to the spirit that keeps America flying high. Cut to slow-motion shots of jets taking off, soldiers running across tarmacs. They say every mission starts with a call, a voice crackling through the radio that turns ordinary men and women into heroes. It was a blistering afternoon in the Middle East. The air was thick with dust and tension. An American ground convoy was pinned down in a narrow valley, ambushed by insurgents armed with RPGs and heavy machine guns. Calls for air support echoed through the radio waves. Ground Team Bravo requesting immediate close air support. Coordinates. Static crackled. We are taking heavy fire. Back at the airbase, in a dimly lit operations room, a colonel slammed his fist against the table. They needed air support, now. But the fast jets were already engaged elsewhere. F-15s were running deep strike missions. F-16s were rearming. The skies were stretched thin. The colonel looked up and shouted, frustrated. "Any jet will do. Get me anything in the air." That's when a calm voice came from the other side of the room. "I can go, sir." Heads turned. Standing by the hangar door, flight helmet tucked under her arm, was Captain Laura Mitchell. A-10 Thunderbolt II pilot. Call sign. Reaper 2-1. The colonel hesitated. His expression hardened. "Mitchell, you're flying the Hog today." She nodded. "Yes, sir. Fully loaded, fueled, and ready." He frowned. "We need something fast. They're in deep trouble out there." Laura's voice was steady, but there was fire in her eyes. "Sir, with respect, you said any jet will do. The Hog's not fast, but it'll get there. And it won't leave until our people are safe." The room went silent. The colonel sighed, half in frustration, half in disbelief. "Fine, go. But you better make it count." Cut to cinematic A-10 footage. Engines roaring, sunlight flashing off titanium armor. Narrator. Minutes later, the air shook with the sound of twin turbofans roaring to life. The A-10 Thunderbolt, affectionately called the Warthog, built not for speed, but for survival. For the kind of fight where every second counts and every bullet matters. Laura climbed into the cockpit, strapping in with practiced precision. Her gloved hand slid over the control panel, switches flicking, displays lighting up. Her voice was calm, almost a whisper. "Reaper 2-1, taxiing for takeoff." The tower cleared her immediately. And with a deep breath, Laura shoved the throttles forward. The Hog screamed down the runway, lifted its nose, and climbed into the hot desert sky. Cut to ground footage. Soldiers pinned down, gunfire echoing, dust clouds. On the ground, chaos. American troops huddled behind burning vehicles, radioing frantically. "Where's that air support? We're getting chewed up out here." Bullets snapped overhead. The squad leader, Staff Sergeant Miller, was bleeding from a shrapnel wound but refused to back down. He grabbed the radio. "Command, we're still pinned. Any air asset, come on, someone get us some cover." Then, faintly, through the static, "This is Reaper 2-1. I'm inbound." Miller blinked. "Say again." "Reaper 2-1. The voice came again, steady and clear. "Copy, ground team. I've got your coordinates. Hold tight. Help's coming." Miller looked at his men. "An A-10. Damn right it is. Boys, we're about to see angels." Cut to A-10 cockpit. Camera shaking, radar pinging. Laura descended through a haze of sand and smoke, eyes scanning the terrain. The valley below was alive with muzzle flashes. The ground team was surrounded, outnumbered, and outgunned. "Command, visual on friendlies. I see heavy fire from the ridgeline, multiple RPG teams." Her targeting pod locked onto a position. She adjusted her throttle and spoke, almost gently. "All right, let's show them what the Hog can do." Her thumb flipped the safety off the gun switch. SFX. Deep mechanical whine of the GAU-8 Avenger spinning up. The A-10 dipped low, 500 feet above the ground. Then came the sound that every American soldier knows, and every enemy fears. BRRRRRRRRRTTTTTT. 30 rounds per second. depleted uranium shells tearing through the ridge. The ground erupted. Enemy fire vanished under a rain of thunder. Good hits, Reaper 2-1. That's beautiful, Miller shouted over the radio. Laura banked hard, scanning for more targets. Stay low, I've got another run. Another ridge, another burst. The hog screamed through the valley like a steel angel of vengeance. Cut to command room. Colonel watching the live feed, expression changing. Back at base, the colonel stared at the live drone feed. He had expected her to get there late, maybe do a few strafing passes, buy some time. But what he was seeing left him silent. That A-10 wasn't just flying, it was dancing. Every movement precise, every burst surgical. She wasn't just saving the convoy, she was rewriting what air support meant. Someone whispered, "Sir, that's Mitchell out there." The colonel swallowed, his earlier words echoing in his mind. Any jet will do. But now, watching her, he realized, this wasn't any jet. This was the jet, and she was the pilot. Cut back to Laura. Cockpit cam, breathing heavy, sweat dripping. Reaper 2-1 to ground. Confirm enemy neutralized on the south ridge. Copy, Reaper. South ridge clear, but we've got movement east, looks like reinforcements. Copy that, I see them. She swung around, lining up her Maverick missiles. Fox 2. The missile streaked out, a white plume slicing through the sky, and slammed into the enemy truck convoy. A bloom of fire erupted. Even from the cockpit, Laura felt the shockwave. Good impact, she muttered. That's for our boys down there. Cut to ground troops cheering, waving up at the sky. The men on the ground couldn't believe it. The valley that had been a death trap moments ago was now silent except for the crackle of flames and the echo of the GAU-8's roar fading into the distance. Miller grabbed the radio again. Reaper 2-1, you just saved our asses out here. Thank you. Laura smiled under her oxygen mask. Just doing my job, Sergeant. But even as she said it, her voice cracked slightly, because she could see the wounded. She circled above until medevac helicopters arrived. Only when every soldier was accounted for did she turn back to base. Cut to landing sequence. Music softens, sunlight fading. The hog came in low over the desert, battered and scorched. Its paint was blackened, and shrapnel marks scarred the fuselage. But it was still flying. Laura brought it down gently, the wheels touching asphalt with a satisfying screech. Engines whined to silence. When she climbed down the ladder, grease and sand streaked her face. Her crew chief ran over. Damn, ma'am, you look like you flew through hell. She smiled faintly. Yeah, but we brought everyone home. Cut to operations room, Colonel waiting at the door. As she walked in to debrief, the room fell silent. The colonel stood there, arms folded, face unreadable. For a moment, he just looked at her. This young woman who'd taken the slowest jet in the inventory and turned it into a guardian. Angel. Then he stepped forward. I said any jet would do, he murmured. Didn't think it'd be the one that saved an entire unit. Laura simply nodded. With respect, sir, sometimes slow and ugly gets the job done. The colonel's stern face broke into a small smile. Remind me never to underestimate the hog again. Cut to cinematic montage. A-10 flying over sunset, troops saluting. Narrator, voice soft, emotional. That day, the A-10 once again proved why it's loved by every soldier who's ever looked up from the dirt and seen it coming to the rescue. It's not sleek, it's not fast, but it's unbreakable. And behind that titanium armor, are pilots like Laura Mitchell, warriors who carry more than weapons. They carry responsibility. They carry the weight of lives. When the colonel said, any jet will do, he learned something that day. It's not the machine that makes the difference. It's the heart of the person flying it. Fade to slow music. Real A-10 footage, American flag in the background. They say the Warthog is old, outdated, that one day, it'll be replaced. But for those who've seen it swoop down through smoke and fire, for the men it saved, the lives it guarded, the A-10 will never be just a plane. It's a promise that no matter how bad things get, someone will always come for you. Final scene. Slow zoom on Laura's A-10, resting under the orange sky. Narrator, softly, emotional close. So next time you hear that unmistakable sound, that deep growl followed by the roar of the GAU-8, remember Captain Laura Mitchell, Remember the soldiers who looked up that day and saw hope with wings. Because in war, heroes don't always come in shiny jets or with perfect plans. Sometimes, they come flying slow, low, and armed with courage that could move mountains. This has been USA Battle Zone. If this story moved you, if you felt even a fraction of the pride those men felt that day, hit that like button, share it with someone who believes in courage, and subscribe for more true stories of American valor. Until next time, stay strong, stay proud, and remember, heroes still fly among us. Fade out. Patriotic music swelling. Montage of A-10s in flight. American flag overlay. USA Battle Zone. Logo appearing on screen.